What's going on, everybody? Mitch Allard, and I'm back with a special project. Currently, we're heading down to Rhode Island to meet up with somebody to pick up a 2007 Suzuki RMZ 450 chassis that has already been modified, pipe, radiators, everything, to accept a CR500 engine. I just happen to have one of those sitting on the shelf, so stay tuned. We're about an hour out, hammering down, and I'll come back to you with an update. What's going on, everybody? Might be kind of hard to tell, but this is not the CR500 engine that I had sitting on the shelf. If you watched the beginning of this video, you saw me unboxing one from a cooler. So I came across a moral dilemma, and I'm going to give you a little glimpse into the future. So I've got the 87 CR500. I just picked up this Rmzilla, and I've been assembling enough parts and pieces to build a steel frame CR500. So, problem was, 3 500 chassis, 2 500 engines. So I reached out to a buddy of mine. He was willing to part with this one. I picked it up at a good price. Needed a little bit. Some gaskets. He just had a fresh bore from Adam Millar up in Canada. So I needed a piston. So I snagged one of those. I snagged a gasket kit. What else? It needs a head. And when I won the Broke to Built contest with the 87, Luke was kind enough, as part of the winnings, to send me a red fathead with the built-in decomp. So we're gonna run that on this engine. I'm getting away from the blue simply because, not because I don't like it, but we're gonna run that red fathead, and the blue might go better with another project. I will not give you the theme I'm going to do with that other 500, but so we got a little bit of work to do, some gaskets. Because I saved just about everything and anything, I was able to go through my random bolt bin and come up with all the clutch cover bolts, the water pump bolts, a sprocket bolt, a kickstart bolt. This isn't going to be a show bike. It's going to be a clean rider. Made an order for some small stuff that I didn't have, clutch cable, throttle cable, some small things, but this has got a fresh rebuilt water pump in it, seals, everything like that. So we're going to see what we come up with. Lower end looks really good. Like I said, the cylinder's got a fresh bore in it, so stay tuned. We're going to build this bad Larry and get it in the bike. I don't know if you can see that. Zoom in, maybe a little focus. It actually says top. So top is the top. Obviously, you want to line the grooves up, top of your ring. Your ring's going to be facing up. That way you're scraping everything up on the cylinder, you're getting the most compression. Now it's a 500, you're going to say it has compression. Well, we all realize that, but just follow the instructions. Top is the top. Lined up with our groove. That's one down. Same thing. Top. That groove is going to be a few degrees off. Another very important piece are these dowel pins. According to the diagram, there's 2 on the 500s. So they center the cylinder but they're definitely needed. Something you don't want to forget. This one didn't have any, so we're going to put them in. Just a little bit of 2-stroke oil. To help things slide. I don't know if you heard it in a previous video, but I was always told, if you love it, lube it. Life lessons. I had to get some new cylinder nuts because I didn't have any good ones. I had a few left over from various kits, but even though this isn't going to be a show bike, I decided I should probably at least make them all match. I mean, they were all the same bolt size and everything. They would have worked, but this bike, like I said, all my bikes are riders, realistically. I don't ride them all, but at any point in time, you could put fuel and oil in them. I just figure if a bike's gonna sit for a long time, I'm a big guy. I'm not too much of a 125 rider. I rode 250 two-stroke since I was 16, 17. So to get me on a 125 it's fun for a lap or two, but that's just too much work. So I've always been a 250 guy, so I guess kind of forgot where I was going with that, but oh yeah, the bikes, riding. I mean, you could ride the Bill's bike, you could ride the RM250 I just sold, you could ride either the 94 or the 96 CR250. Obviously, if they're all dialed up and built to the hilt, it's nice to have some pieces to look at, and it's nice to have some pieces to ride. So you could do either or, but the 96 McGrath bike that you guys haven't seen is more kind of a showpiece. 94 is built as a rider. The 87 CR500 has just gotten to the point where parts are really so hard to get for that bike. I wanted to build a 500 for a rider. You know, if I sell a bike, I can't come down on somebody for wanting to ride it, but I think with the 87 especially, that is, the money in that bike is to a collector. There's just no doubt about that. A collector would absolutely love to have that bike. So, unfortunately, I'm not a collector, I guess. I'm a builder that has a bike collection. Regardless of what's going on, I usually pull the original drain plug on these bikes, and for cheap money, I can't even remember, $8 maybe, $10, you can do the Tusk magnetic drain bolt. Same thread, same style. If something is to go through your engine, or come apart in your engine, I should say, hopefully that guy catches it. Cheap insurance in my book. Had to dig through my collection of stuff to come up with one of these. We're not going to bolt this guy on here because we still got to get a clutch cable in it, but gasket and clutch cover with the bolts. Again, came from my collection of stuff that I've never thrown away. Now I could put the exhaust flange on this bike, but it's going to be a tight squeeze into the 450 chassis. So I'm not too sure. I might just struggle with that when it's in there. We'll see. Maybe a test fit. All right, the next issue that we have is going to be with the reed spacer. This is the spacer for the block. That's the stock OEM cage. We're gonna have to do what you have to do with like a Moto Test and REV Force. Trim these flush. Stay tuned. Oh yeah, she fits. You ever hit the part of the project where you get super excited and stoked? Just hit it. All right, you got the engine somewhat situated in there. OEM Rmzilla chain guide side, chain slide, not chain guide slide, chain slide. It's pretty cooked. While the swing arm's off, we're gonna knock that baby right out. Sweet, no rash on the swing arm. We were getting pretty close though, there's no doubt about that. This has seen better days. Stuck nuts thread locker should hold this guy right in place where we want it. All right, so we ran into a small issue with the 500 engine. It was fixed really quick, thanks to Luke at Fathead. As per usual, I got a little excited and I did not read the instructions. So when you install a fathead on a gasketed type cylinder head, the fathead obviously uses an O-ring, or at least on the 500 uses 2 O-rings. So I was having an issue with coolant coming up through the studs. So I reached out to Luke and he explained to me that you have to use a crush washer and a cap nut, which he had no problem sending out. Either he sent them out and I misplaced them and used them on another project, which is probably a likely story, or he slipped up. I'm gonna go with it was me. So I got those all put in, thanks to Chris at 723 Productions. He hooked me up. He actually runs a fathead on his 03 KX250 project bike. So that allowed me to get this head going. I have coolant, I have oil in the bike. The other thing that I found is I was leaking out of the O-ring that sits behind here. There wasn't an O-ring in there. Luckily I had one kicking around. So I put that in. The bike is liquid tight, let's say that. Waiting on a couple other small parts. So I am going to get the other small pieces on this bike, some chain rollers, mainly everything that I can do without putting the carburetor in. But that's pretty much going to end this video. So hopefully you enjoyed it enough to come back for part 2, where the plan is to get this thing together, finish getting it together, and fire it off. Thank you guys for watching.